Hello, this is Adam with DreamMade Productions. This video is made possible by the very kind donations of viewers like you. Thank you. If you are in a position to help this channel improve quality and grow, please visit my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/DreamMadeProductions, linked below.
It is the 31st century, and mankind is once again at war. The battlefields of the future are dominated by huge robotic war machines known as battlemechs.
Hello, and welcome back to The Arsenal, a series where we look at the weapons, equipment, and technology of the BattleTech universe. Today, we look at a weapon that can really sting if used correctly. While carried by some of my favorite mechs, I sometimes shy away from using it because it can slow the game, especially when used in excess. Best used against an enemy already on the back foot. Today, we look at the Short-Range Missile 6. While missile technology has existed in one way or another for thousands of years, in 2370, the modern BattleTech short-range missile entered mass production. The new weapon had numerous advantages over its predecessors. One of the largest was its destructive capability compared to its weight. Unlike prior missiles, the projectile did not just carry a warhead. The projectile itself was made of a metal, high-explosive composite structure, making the casing itself part of the weapon's explosive payload. This innovation alone produced a weapon more destructive than a missile almost 4 times its size, made of traditional materials. Combine the more punch for less space and weight with its other features, less prone to electronic jamming, more able to penetrate the quickly advancing armor of its age, and its fire-and-forget nature. The weapon quickly became popular, lugged around by infantry and shoulder-carried launchers, mounted to tanks, VTOLs, hovercraft, and anything else capable of carrying the simple yet effective weapon. When the Maquis changed warfare forever, it did not take long for the weapon to be transplanted to the designs to follow. The Terran hegemony engineers knew they had a hit on their hands despite the weapon's troubled testing phase. After 5 years of tests, prototypes, and refinements, the ammunition was ready, and so were the selection of launchers, releasing the SRM-2, SRM-4, and the largest standard launcher, the SRM-6. As the name suggests, the 6-tube missile launcher is capable of disgorging a volley of 6 self-guided armor-piercing missiles. Using its own guidance system, the weapon requires only that the user point it at the enemy and launch the weapon. The onboard guidance system attempts to calculate a solution in flight. This has its advantages and disadvantages. Favorably, the weapon is simple to use and does not require a lengthy lock-on time. It can be snapshot at even a glimpse of an enemy, and no further action is needed on the pilot's part. On the downside, there is no way for the user to accurately predict the result of his strike. Sure, dead-eyed pilots and mech warriors can send their missiles on perfect intercept vectors, but the only way to really predict what will happen is to expend the ammunition. The onboard computer system of the SRM is simple, especially when compared to its long-range cousin or more advanced guidance systems. While this makes the system small and light, thereby increasing the warhead size, it also greatly limits its effective range as well as completely removing its ability to calculate the complex vectors needed for indirect firing. The system also does not coordinate with other missiles in flight. The LRMs tend to land in close clusters. SRMs tend to wander in flight. The sextuple tubes of the SRM-6 weighs 3 tons, while taking up just 2 critical slots. This big punch for a small size makes it appealing for almost every mech class. The system itself pulls a negligible amount of power, but the missile's backwash when fired does heat up the interior of a mech by about 4 heat. And while there have been attempts at venting the backwash in better ways, each attempt has left the weapon itself dangerously exposed or, frankly, made the problem horribly worse. The guidance systems on the missiles are most effective when flight times are short, ideally out to a distance of 3. The system's ability begins to fall off, getting remarkably worse at 7, while the missile's propellant will carry it beyond 9. By then, the battery powering the electronics will have failed, locking up the control surfaces, causing the missile to crash into the nearest solid object, normally the ground. The SRM-6 would be the most advanced SRM launcher for centuries. Unable to improve on the design, SLDF scientists instead began to develop add-ons. They developed an improved guidance system capable of both pre-launch and mid-flight two-way communication between the missile and the mech's combat computer, and a special sensor module. The SLDF would name the system after an ancient hunting goddess, Artemis. Other innovations would follow, some focusing on alternative ways of improving the guidance of the missiles, while others would replace the warhead with creative alternatives. Perhaps the ultimate accuracy improvement was underway when the Great War broke out. The streak system, already in use on the smaller SRM-2, was weeks away from completing Black Watch trials. Most, if not all, of the senior research staff was killed in the initial nuclear strike on the Black Watch base. Either way, the research staff, their prototypes, and virtually all of their research would not survive. What little research did survive left known space with the SLDF survivors. After their own internal schism, the newly formed clans managed to hastily assemble larger streak racks before their quelling of the new homeworlds. While one would expect the streak system to completely replace the humbler standard system, even the clans see the advantages offered by the SRM-6 is worth keeping around. Overall, the SRM-6 is a capable weapons platform, able to deliver modest damage output in a small, lightweight design. The classic tactic of opening up the armor, then blasting the mech with an angry swarm of SRMs is still hard to defend against. No armor is perfect, and covering any target with enough explosions has the potential to find that tiny crack, that bad welding job, or just defective armor plate. Both these tasks the SRM-6 excels, and why it has endured for centuries and will continue to find its way onto anything large enough to hold it. Personally, I have a love-hate relationship with the SRM and the SRM-6 specifically. It is a great weapon on the tabletop, crit-seeking or shotgunning light mechs. A lot of people underestimate SRMs and learn a harsh lesson when that Javelin or Crusader gets too close. A variant on the Zeus I enjoy is the 6A. The PPC large laser combo is perfect at creating a breach for the 3 SRM-6 racks to cause internal system damage. On the downside, this concept can go too far, the SRM carrier being the worst. It's 10 SRM-6 launchers. First, that's 10 to hit rolls, then all the locations. Let's say half hit. That's 10 rolls and 5 rolls on the cluster table. Then say each roll is averaged with a 7. That's 20 missiles, so 20 locations. You are up to 35 die rolls, plus any critical chances or rolls on the critical table. It can just kill the pace of the game. Home rules are almost required for this. My friends and I just roll 3 or 4 locations and apply all hits to those locations. It nerfs the effectiveness somewhat since you have less rolls for a 2 or 12, but then again, you are not spending 45 minutes resolving one unit's attack. A friend just banned any unit that mounted more than 2 SRM launchers. Others, I am sure, have their own rules. There are programs or apps, of course, out there. They can work, but I don't know. It just seems to take away from the live gaming experience. Something about hearing and seeing those dice roll. How do you handle your SRM rolls? What do you think about the SRM6? Is there anything you would like covered? Leave your comments below. And as always, I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come. Hello, this is Adam with DreamMade Productions. Thank you for watching my content. It really means a lot that you have given me the chance to entertain you. If you would like to support the channel, please visit my Patreon at patreon.com/DreamMadeProductions, linked below. Also below is a link for PayPal, or links if you would like to send crypto, if that's more your thing. Please know any amount that you give will be cherished and used to upgrade equipment and improve the channel. You can also help the channel by subscribing, turning on notifications, liking, commenting, and sharing my channel with anyone you think might be interested. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come.